Talayatu and welcome to our bulletin for BCN News. Leading our news tonight, Premier Dalton Tangilanghi made an official appearance on TV Niue on Tuesday evening to announce that health officials had detected the island's first case of COVID-19 from one of the passengers that arrived on Monday's flight this week. The case is in MIQ and remains asymptomatic and is generally well, according to health officials.
Since the spread of Omicron in New Zealand last year, the Niue government had been preparing to deal with the virus when it reaches Niue. On Tuesday evening at 7 p.m, Premier Honourable Dalton Tangilanghi made the announcement.
We have expected this virus. We have prepared for it. And we are ready to contain its spread. We have remained vigilant. We have caught this case. And now I ask you to remain vigilant as well. As we all know, the best defense against this virus is by keeping calm, working together, and making use of all the health and safety precautions that we know make a real difference in protecting us all from COVID-19. Our best defense, along with wearing your mask, use your rock-safe and keep up good general hygiene habits.
Today, BCN News spoke to the Director General of Health, Gayleen Tasmania, about the latest update, especially with the case in MIQ.
The case is generally well, remains asymptomatic. So we've been monitoring the case every day. The team have been in touch and things are looking well for the case. There's nothing there to indicate any worry at the moment. So generally well, and the case remains asymptomatic. Our priority at the moment is to manage the case in MIQ and to contain the spread of the virus.
All passengers from the flight in MIQ are considered close contacts, and they will remain in isolation until they are cleared to be released.
So all our passengers that came on the flight on Monday are deemed close contacts. So all the passengers on that flight, they are all considered close contacts. Currently the plan is, as we have always practiced, has been 10 days. So right now, as long as there are no other cases, everyone else is tests negative, then they should be okay to be released into the general public. Now that could change. Today is day 3 for testing, and so that could change. Again, we will have to anticipate things changing rapidly, and we will just have to respond accordingly.
The government is expecting more cases and will stay the course of trying to contain the positive cases in MIQ.
We have to expect more cases. We have been preparing for more cases. The good thing is that that expectation is within MIQ. We do not expect cases out in the community because we are very confident in the protocols and processes that we've put in place, but we have to prepare for an increase in cases. But we are confident again that these remain in MIQ.
Mrs. Tasmania says that all passengers and frontline staff were tested today. She explained that frontline staff are not deemed as close contacts as long as they are in appropriate PPE gear or personal protective equipment, and that they follow the correct measures that they have been practicing. But the Health Department, as a precaution, asked certain key members of staff to remain in isolation as a precaution because this is our first positive case. The government has also started distributing care packages to every household on the island, starting with the villages of Tamakautonga, Alofi North, Namukulu and Lakapa, the villages where the MIQ facilities are located. The message for now is to remain calm and to contact the government for official information.
Gender Equality Today for Sustainable Tomorrow is the United Nations theme for the International Women's Day 2022, calling for climate action by women for women. Another theme set by International Feminist Organization for International Women's Day is Break the Bias. But what is really the status of women in Niue for 2022? Esther Pavihi finds out.
When it comes to the status of women, appearances can be quite deceptive. especially when there is a lack of legal protection, such as here in Niue. While there may be more women than men in high positions in the public service and also in the NGO space, we are still decades behind in terms of legal protection compared to fellow New Zealand citizens. It is still very difficult for women to access justice because of archaic laws and cultural norms which prevent women from seeking help through the court system. Yet every year on March 8th, we celebrate our successes as women and continue to inspire our girls and daughters to be bigger and better than our generation. At a breakfast event last Friday, organised by the Chamber of Commerce, many women and girls joined in the celebrations, perhaps unaware of the hidden challenges facing women in Niue and having been living with for decades. BCN News, though, asked some of the younger women to share what they thought of International Women's Day. One 21-year-old woman said that she has been to two well-organised International Women's Day breakfasts hosted by the Chamber of Commerce, and both events have been amazing. She says that International Women's Day is a day that we remember how strong and courageous women are. She says that we are beautiful, intelligent and important. Women are such a light in this world, and we are no less or greater than men. We are equal and should be acknowledged as so. There are many examples of gender biases here in Niue, she says, from your work to school and in the community and even in your household. However, she says we have grown up to these experiences which have been normalized so much that we don't realize it at times. Rhonda Siakia is the president of the Niue Youth Council, and she says that International Women's Day is a day to celebrate women. It is about spreading the message of gender equality, working towards a better society where there is no gender bias. She says that as women, we need to change our perception of how we see ourselves in the community, church, work, and to challenge the bias that exists within all of us and work together without feeling inadequate. So I suppose in order for women in Niue to genuinely enjoy gender equality, we must first get that legal protection and that legal recognition that says that we are indeed worthy of that consideration and that our rights are protected and upheld. When the Family Law Bill becomes law, if that will be this year or next year, but when it does, it will go a long way to addressing some of the legal protection issues that women face here in Niue and put women here on par with our fellow New Zealand citizens in Aotearoa.
Tony Kossie-Edwards is Niue's chef de mission to the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham held in July. Mr. Edwards told BCN News that they are still finalising the Niue team for the Games.
Tony Edwards is the chef de mission who will be leading the Niue sports teams to the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. Mr. Edwards says they are still working on the list provided by the sporting codes attending, which include lawn bowls, boxing, athletics and weightlifting. Mr. Edwards says they are working closely with Niue Lawn Bowls at this time. He is also aware that Niue Lawn Bowls is working with Niue New Zealand Lawn Bowls for potential players to join their team, but the Lawn Bowls team is still not finalised yet. The two youth representatives on the team are Ramsey Edwards with weightlifting and Tukala Tangelangi with lawn bowls. According to Tony Edwards, these two young athletes have not yet been confirmed for the Birmingham 2022 Games, but they will fit the criteria for the Commonwealth Youth Games next year.
The final day of a series of media awareness workshops was held at the National Disaster Management Office at Whanuakula. Here's Sana Sioneholo with more on that story.
The session on Friday was for members of the Whanuakepule, the Public Service Commissioners and the Secretary to Government. All three commissioners, Ida Talangi Hekesi, Victoria Kalauni and Commissioner Gerard Heko of the Public Service attended the workshop. Secretary to Government Peleni Talangi was also present. Only 5 members of the Whanuakepule attended the workshop. One Common Role member, Olaf Jacobson, member from Malofino of Vainga Tukuitonga, member from Toi, Dion Taufitu, member from Makefu, Tofua Puletama, and member from Hakupu, Richie Mautama. The workshop heard from a list of presenters via Zoom, including Sarah Powers, the Rights to Information Advisor from UNDP. Barbara Driver, Pacific correspondent from TVNZ, Samantha Magic, the editor of Island Business Regional Magazine, Patrick Leno, former broadcaster and former CEO of Pacific Media Network and PCN, Lisa Williams-Lahari, the Public Affairs Advisor of the Pacific Islands Forum, and our New Zealand, Her Excellency Helen Turner, who was a journalist, former parliamentary press gallery reporter and press secretary. It understood that the media awareness workshop for leaders in the first of its kind in the Pacific.
I also want to acknowledge too the role of BCN. I think we're still at a time in our history that despite turning 50, our Pacific Forum leaders, the organization that they set up to take our countries forward out of the colonial era, unfortunately has been a bit slow when it comes to our media leaders really grabbing the opportunities to take our ideas and our priorities forward, to break free of the notion that we need to bring in expensive consultants to do everything to do with planning our future. So BCN has really, for me, played a highlight in stepping up with this kind of training. So thank you to BCN, to Trevor and the team, and also especially to Esther for the task of putting all this together. It cannot have been easy for you, because I know that on top of the news, you've also been participating in our inaugural Reporting Gender Masterclass that we have been hosting as part of our preparation for the Forum Leaders meeting that's happening later on this year. So I want to just acknowledge the role of BCN in stepping up to the plate and showing the bigger countries of the region how it can be done. Niue style.
The workshop is funded by UNESCO to help foster an understanding of the news media with the leaders of the island and the role of the media as the interface between those who govern and make decisions and the members of the public.
Former Chief Executive Officer Brett Collier departed Niue on Monday's flight after resigning from Telecom Niue last year. In a government press release, Premier Dalton Tangelangi thanked Mr. Collier for all his work and achievements accomplished for Telecom Niue. Here's more on that story. In 2019, Mr. Collier signed a 4-year contract with Telecom Niue Limited until 2023. However, in December last year, Mr. Collier resigned from his role as CEO of Telecom Niue. At the time, BCN's News spoke with Telecom Niue board chairperson Avi Rubin, who confirmed Mr. Collier's resignation, although they were not able to disclose the reasons for his resignation. In a government press release issued last Thursday, Premier Dalton Tangelangi expressed his thoughts of appreciation and gratitude towards Mr. Collier and the work he has done to further the development of Telecom Niue. He says Brett has done a great job for Telecom Niue and exceeded our expectations by not only the implementation of a complete transformation of the technology and communications infrastructure, but also the additional upgrades he has been instrumental in securing. He also acknowledged Mr. Collier's important role in helping Niue's COVID response committee in sourcing essential goods and products, such as hospital beds, from his extensive networks across the Pacific, New Zealand and Australia to help the people of Niue with the challenges of COVID-19 during that time. Premier Dalton Tangelangi said although Mr. Collier has left his role, he will still have significant input in providing consulting advice for Telecom Niue where needed until the next appointed CEO. In an email to BCN News, Mr. Collier said that he wished to thank his staff and the people he had worked with over the 4 years for their support. Brett Collier said that without this support, they could not have taken Telecom as far as it has gone. Brett Collier has left the island on Monday's flight to pursue his new role in New Zealand. And that is our news bulletin for tonight. Stay tuned for Radio Sunshine tomorrow at 11 a.m. till 12 p.m. for News of the Week with Esther Bavihi, while we have guests Director General of Health and Social Services, Gayleen Tasmania, and Chief of Police, Tim Wilson, speak more about the COVID-19 situation here in Niue. Until then, stay safe and be kind to one another. Kia munuina.